usually in the morning, the women who work with the babies have a huge carriage, and there's like 6 babies in the carriage. And the fear is, if there's a red alert, how do you decide who to grab first?
Yeah. I mean, what a decision to make. And this is a regular thing. Yeah. This is something you have to grapple with on a regular basis.
But the thing is, you know when there's more likelihood of rockets. Like, you know, you have a meteorologist that's predicting rain. Yeah. So we get the people who are the Army, the IDF, who are predicting the rockets.
Right, and it's interesting, Adele.
They have the intel.
Yeah, you had said off camera that a lot of times right before a ceasefire, that's when it intensifies.
Absolutely, because the ceasefire, when the government of Israel and the Hamas are talking ceasefire, we're not talking ceasefire right now. Yeah. We're not saying, we're talking ceasefire like in 5 hours' time. Right. Before that ceasefire comes into effect, they throw everything they've got.
The final barrage.
The final barrage, the last hurrah.
Yeah, and that's the most dangerous time.
And that happened a few times during the summer of 2014. There were a few ceasefires. And each time before there's a ceasefire, you know that the last hours before the ceasefire goes into effect, you don't want to be outside. So on the morning of August 26th, this high voltage tower was hit the same time that my house was hit, and the electricity in the entire community went out. Where we are now is...
Talk about a scary thing. All the electricity's out and rockets are falling.
Absolutely, and you don't want something like that. You don't want to be with all the electricity out and in the dark, because that is totally petrifying. So where we are now is right in the center of the community, where the children's daycare centers are, and the high voltage tower is knocked out. In the afternoon, they brought special electricians over to try and reinstate the electricity. And what they didn't realize was that the Hamas and Israel were talking ceasefire. And because if they had known that ceasefire was being negotiated, they wouldn't have been out here. Yeah.
Because like you said, that's when the barrages intensify. It's like the last gasp before the ceasefire takes effect.
That's right. But they didn't know, and they were here trying to get the electricity back. Zevik and Sha'ar and Gadi and all the other people who were around here would hear an incoming rocket alert and run to take cover. And all the while, the kids are able to look through the window and see. They looked for their father coming back. After the 3rd red alert, after the 3rd incoming rocket, they heard a loud explosion. They saw dust, smoke, and no father. They didn't see him coming into view again. And that's when Gadi, who was closest to where the mortar fell, had both of his legs blown off. Zevik was a little bit farther away, and he was hit in the chest and was killed instantly. And Sha'ar was hit and died a few hours later in the hospital as they were trying to save him.
Right where we're standing right now, right in this area.
This was blood-soaked earth from people who were born here, who were trying to reinstate the electricity and to try and make this place, their home, livable.
And this was just wrenching, obviously, this horrible loss, Adele, for the community. We have a memorial here to those who were killed.
We have a memorial here, and right behind the memorial you can see on the tree the bark that's still wounded from the shrapnel. So if shrapnel can do that to a tree, imagine what it does to a person's body.
We've had losses, very human losses here, but the people in this community are resilient. And you're not going anywhere.
No, this is our home. Where are we going to go? Israel's a small country. You know, Beersheba got rockets, Ashkelon got rockets, in the north they got rockets. There's no place to go where you can say that you're 100% safe in any place in the world. Like, terrorism is all over. So this is our home, and this is where we stay.
Thanks again to Adele for joining us. She is one courageous woman. Be sure to keep her and the people of Narim in your prayers. Well, up next, find out how Hamas's latest terror tactic is targeting the economy of southern Israel and what Israel is doing to fight back. Don't move.